reason why it's so important to be in Berlin is right now it's definitely a focal point in the art world, one could say the hottest point where all of the young up-and-coming artists are showcasing their work. And for that reason we thought it would be relevant to have such a young and up-and-coming fashion photographer showing in Berlin to represent Sweden.
Well, I think that the Fashion Week and the shows in Berlin are very important for Sweden fashion designers and for the sector to show their creativity and their potential.
I think one of the big challenges for Swedish fashion is to keep the uniqueness intact. I mean, there are naturally, and fashion has to do with change and always change. And if Sweden really manages to build a connection to one particular stylistic expression, then that will inevitably be out of fashion along the line. So keeping in fashion will be a challenge.
I think the Swedish designers are very aware on how to present their brand. I think it's very important to have a strong brand identity, and we are quite picky in the way we want to present ourselves, and it's important that it's also synonymous with Sweden, and I think that's something we're strong at, and I think that's why Swedish designers are doing so well.
I would say that the Swedish fashion industry today is becoming more and more progressive in the way that it's not only very creative, but it's also becoming an industry with a great portion of sustainable thinking. And that is something which the world and the consumers are looking for.
The underlying theme and message to this season's collection, I would say, of course, is the 70s style, which is very popular right now. So that's also for me, if I talk about my own design, a little bit 70s, but also the love of Nordic nature and actually a little bit of animals coming into the picture.
I think it's important for Swedish fashion companies to be profiled in Berlin, showing this more unified view of this might be Swedish fashion, this proposal that here we are, this is Swedish fashion, and this is what we're known for. I think that's important to have this coming together of Swedish fashion.
Well, I think what's typical Swedish design and for the Swedish fashion industry is the practical ways of looking at things. Clothing needs to be practical. I feel that there's an honesty in Swedish design. You want to add something to the wearer, add something to their personal life, something that suits them.
In Berlin, I'm going to be talking about the Swedishness of Swedish fashion and how the idea of Sweden is really a construction that can be used in different ways by different companies to connote various ideas or even maybe fantasies of Swedishness that can be used in different ways for different companies' own ends.
Well, Camilla Ahlkrantz, she's not only one of Sweden's up-and-coming fashion photographers, but she's also one of the few women photographers working in the branch. And for that reason, we really wanted her to represent Sweden. Sweden is so known for its equality.
I think when Swedish fashion is presented in Berlin, that many viewers might be a little bit surprised over the broad array of different stylistic expressions. I mean, there have been a few more known companies that have had a strong presence abroad, but there is so much more coming from Sweden that I think will benefit from this overall presentation in Berlin.
I'm pretty sure that the export of Swedish fashion will continue to grow. It has shown good figures over the last years, and it will continue to be an important part of Swedish trade.
It's the first time I'm showing in Berlin, and I think it's fantastic. And the whole crew, the whole setup, it's so professional. I'm really, really pleased.